Well, we're currently at Spring Creek Campground. It's a Nevada State Park campground near Pioche, Nevada. Beautiful place. Pretty busy with fishermen. There's a big reservoir here. We stopped, of course, to be able to shower and fill water and empty garbage and things like that. For the last few days, we've been helping a friend of ours go over systems on his brand new Sprinter van. And yesterday, the worst thing happened. I was underneath the van trying to figure out a little problem he was having, and when I went to stand up, I tore the meniscus on my left knee. The rest of yesterday, I couldn't even stand up. It was so painful. I couldn't bend my knee because of the tear. And today, I'm actually able to actually stand on it and hobble about a little bit, but sure put a damper on this trip, I'll tell you. Last night we were thinking we were going to just go home because it's going to need to get operated on, but today, because I can hobble around, I'm determined to push on. But you know, last night I was able to use our Garmin InReach, and this thing, because we have no cell service here, this thing was worth its weight in gold last night, because not only is it a GPS, but it's also a satellite communicator, and I was able to send text messages home and find out what the max dose for ibuprofen was to take the swelling down on my knee. So it really paid off last night. I was so happy. Anyways, today we're going to move back out to do some boondocking, figure out where we're going from here. So stick around. Well, this is camp for the night, or maybe a couple nights, we'll see. We're near Pioche, P-I-O-C-H-E, I think that's right, Nevada. We're the only ones out here, and it is beautiful. We stopped here because we haven't had any cell service in days and had to get some work done on the laptop and, you know the stuff, emails, texts, things like that. We had to settle. Anyways, this is just a nice area. Well, since I bungled up my knee, I'm going to be hanging pretty close to camp. For the next couple of days anyway. I don't know where these cans were supposed to just, I guess they think they burn, but they don't burn. Their aluminum just melts. Aluminum cans don't burn. I guess if you get them hot enough, they might, but hey, pretty nice fire pit though. A little shade from the juniper tree here. Blocks the wind too. Well, after 2 noisy days and nights in a state park campground here in Nevada, we're finally out where we like to be, out in the middle of nowhere. It's a pretty place. Spent the day trying to catch up on editing and uploading video for you guys. And tomorrow, we're going to head out and do some exploring around here. Looks like a worthy place to explore. See you guys in the morning. So Linda and I are currently in the state of Nevada, and you know Nevada is 97% public land, and Arizona has tremendous amounts of public land, as does Colorado, Wyoming. Look around, you'll see. But you know, when you're going down that lonely blacktop and you see the dirt roads that go off one way or the other, you know it's public land out there, but where do those roads go? Is it a mine? Is it a well? Is it an abandoned homestead? What's out there? Well, we don't bring our ATV along anymore, but we do have our four-wheel drive Yukon, so we get out and we like to explore, and that's what we're doing today. Let's go see what we can find, yeah? Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, today is a day of thunderstorms and rain showers, so we have to be prepared for everything. Wildlife. I told her she's wild.
Raindrop hit my head?
That's not a raindrop, that's hail, dear.
Oh.
What the hell?
It's a good thing I had this hat on.
There's some big rain showers in this area. I hear thunder too. That's why it's so dark on the video here. What do you got there?
Some flakes. It almost looks like the edge of something.
Yep. We're going to have to go take shelter in the car, baby, till this passes.
Okay.
All right, back to the car for a little bit. Well, we just found an area of a lot of flakes from stone tool making, and that's always interesting. That's along this road here. Well, Mother Nature is treating us to quite a display. Hey, remember, never go down any road any further than you can walk out. We're not too far from camp. And also, we're not worried about flash flooding. We're on mountains, you know, hills and mountains here. We're staying out of the gullies. The other thing is that the road that we're on is gravel and rock, so we're not worried about getting stuck in the mud. But if that did happen, Linda and I could make it back to camp on foot if we had to. So I'm back outside, even though it's drizzling a little bit, poking around, seeing what's around here. Hey, Linda, let's head back to the car for a little bit. This one's coming right overhead. Don't want us to get struck by lightning. But I do love a good storm. I just don't want to get struck. What did Bilbo Baggins say when Gandalf showed up at his residence, his hobbit home? In a flash of light, a big cloud of smoke, and Bilbo Baggins rolled around on the ground and said, "Struck by lightning, struck by lightning." It was just Gandalf's appearance. But I don't want to get struck by lightning for real. Hey, check this out. This is fossilized vertebra. Isn't that cool? Some prehistoric animal dropped that here. I just found a little knife. Now, when you think of knives from the prehistoric days, they didn't have knives like we think of knives. They were stone cutting tools. Some of them were little itty bitty, and some of them were round, sharp all the way around. This one you find quite frequently. Let's see if I can get it so you can see it. They've always got a slight curve shape like this, and they're always worked around the edges. And in these cases, they're only worked on one side, not two like normal. But all those little jags that you see around the edge there, those are all little tiny minute flakes that were taken off to make this sharp. Just found another one just laying in the road behind our car. And, you know, just another blade. Pretty nice one. You know, some of those blades were longer. Some of them may even have been hafted onto a wood handle or a bone handle with some rawhide or sinew or something like that. Prehistoric man was a lot smarter than we give him credit for, a lot smarter than we think he was, because for one thing, their brains were larger than ours, and they think that's because they constantly had to be aware of their surroundings. There was no sitting on the sofa and just letting their minds go blank and watching a football game or something like that. What were you
I
saying?
think they utilize more of their brains, left and right, constantly.
They were constantly being hunted themselves. It was always fight or you know, fright or fight, flee or fight, whatever you want to say. But they were constantly being hunted as a food source themselves. So there was no letting their guard down ever. They think that might be why their brains were bigger. But they also say that if you could travel back in time and if you could speak their language, you could have a normal conversation. That's a pretty cool thought, yeah?
Even with me?
No.
Hey Rick, I just found some goodies. You want a fruit slice?
Sure.
Candied
What the
fruit
heck?
slice?
That does look like one of those candied fruit slices. I used to see them at the candy counters in the stores. I'll pass on this one. No, thank you.
You will?
Is it a petrified fruit slice?
Maybe, yeah.
You eat it. You know, when we come to an area that's littered with flakes, when they're just all over the ground, like they are in this particular place where we're at, it makes me wonder about the place, because you know that they found this place special and they hung out here. And I can tell you right now there's no water here, but they liked this spot. It must have been a meeting spot. They must have spent lots of time here. What was the climate like? Was it subtropical or something, or was it desert like it is today, high desert? For some reason, they liked this spot where we're standing. It's fun to think about that stuff. You know, we look for campsites with our own criteria. Wonder what theirs was. Easily defensible would be 1. This has got hill on both sides. I don't know. Hey, I see something else here. Let me show you. It's a rub. It's where a deer or an elk, I don't know if they got elk down here, but they'd show up here with the velveteen on their antlers and they rub on the trees to get that off in the springtime. That's what this is. Well, the weather's about to turn really nasty again, so I got to make this brief. We did discover something about this one site that shows all the habitation signs. And you know what it is? We've been following this road, and this road follows the top of a ridge line. You can see the road behind my vehicle here. I'm going to swing gently to the left, and the road keeps following the top of the ridge line. But this one location, different than the whole rest of this ridge that goes for a couple of miles, is that this one location has, let me move over here, a very gentle access to the valley or coulee down below here before that next ridge line above. This is a very gentle slope going down. That's the one thing this spot has that no other spot has along this ridge. Maybe there's water down there somewhere. Well, we've reached the end of the road, and look what we found. A mine, a well, a deserted cabin. It just ends in a beautiful overlook. That's reward enough. Wow, what do you think of this?
What's that?
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, especially with the sky today, with all the thunderstorms around and the virga falling down and everything. You do know what virga is, don't you? Okay, for those that don't, virga is rain that falls and doesn't hit the ground. It evaporates first. That's kind of what's going on with most of the rain today. What a pretty place. Looking for pretty rocks.
Hey.
Well, I wish I could make it down there to look around, but I tore the meniscus on my left knee a couple days ago, and it's level ground for me mostly. But what a neat area. Hey, Linda, why don't you go on down to the bottom and see what's there and film it for everybody, and I'll wait for you up here.
Okay, I'll get right on it.
So this little road had quite the reward at the end. Wonder what's down the next one. Hey, thanks for coming along, you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little dark for a while. Got a little brighter sky right now, but it's getting ready to rain again.
Yep, so we gotta head for shelter.
Head for shelter. We're gonna make it back to camp. Hey, we'll see you guys around.